Hi, Bo. First of all, congratulations on the birth of your son. How's dad life treating you so far?
It's been great. I only got to be a part of it for a week, which obviously was tough. But it was the best week of my life, hands down. So now we're really Hall and I are really happy to have a little man in our life, and no, he's been a blessing for us for sure.
How difficult is it being away right now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. To leave your newborn after a week. But it is what it is. The new way it has to be right now, and I'm focused on winning a Stanley Cup here now.
Just excited to be getting back to hockey and back with the guys here pretty quick and training camp next week.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited and really excited to get everybody together again. We've been skating in small groups, so I haven't even seen the other guys except for the guys in my group yet. So it'd be fun to get back with everybody and and get things rolling here.
Last one for me. How are Gus and Gunnar getting along so far?
Gus was pretty upset when Gunnar came home for the first time, but no, he's feeling a little left out. But we're trying to make him feel as special as we usually do. So it might take him a little bit, but he'll warm up to him.
Thanks, Bo. Congrats again.
Yeah, thank you.
Next, we'll go to Ian McIntyre.
Hey, Bo. Congratulations. I can appreciate how emotionally difficult it is being away from your baby. And of course, you knew it would be. But now that you're experiencing that separation, is it as hard or harder than what you thought?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough, but you don't know until it actually happens. Leaving Sunday was probably one of the toughest days I've ever had to go through, leaving your family behind. But, because I think just the not knowing when you're going to see them again is the biggest thing. But, hopefully by the end of this, I'll be putting them in the Stanley Cup at the end of it, and everything will be all right.
What are you doing to stay in touch? FaceTiming multiple times a day or?
Yeah, they're probably getting sick of me by now. I try to FaceTime pretty much every second of the day. So, just trying to keep in touch that way, see him as much as I can over my phone, and hopefully he doesn't forget about me.
All right, and one last one on that topic. You obviously would have an option to opt out. I'm not sure that we'll see any NHL players do it. But did that cross your mind, and how much did you think about your travel schedule and whether you could delay joining the team and whether you could see your baby sometime during this?
Yeah, not one time have I ever thought about opting out. No, I want to be there for my teammates. I want to be there, when the season gets going and be a part of winning here. And but the whole being there for the birth and trying to figure out when I'm going to join the team during camp, because her due date wasn't scheduled till the 14th of July, so it was going to overlap some things. So I was still trying to figure that out all the way up until the day he was born. So I'm happy he came a little earlier and he's healthy and doing well, and I got to spend the week with him and Hall before I came out here.
Thank you, Bo.
Yep.
Jim Morris is next.
Hello, Bo. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
Yeah.
Ian kind of took the question I was just going to ask you, but I was going to say, does it put a different perspective on things going into the bubble and health concerns now that you are a father, maybe a little different than 6 months ago or a year ago?
Yeah. Well, you look at things a lot differently for sure. Now having a kid, you want the best for your family. You want the best health and safety for your family. And I think, the way they have the bubble set up is going to be the safest place for all of us anyway. So, once we get in that bubble, we're not going to have any contact basically with the outside world except for our teammates and obviously the opposition. But, the way they have it all set up, everybody's going to be safe. Everybody's going to be tested. And, that makes me feel a lot better. When it is time to leave, that I'll be going back home safe and hopefully COVID free.
And just so and your wife and your baby, are they back east or where are they?
Yeah, they're back east. I'm not sure, when I'll be able to see them next. But for now, obviously we had him back there, so for now we just want him to stay there and stay healthy and stay safe.
And a hockey-related question. Somebody asked Chris Tanis this the other day, how do you think the hockey's going to be when you actually start playing? Like you might get an exhibition game in, but you're going into Stanley Cup playoffs basically like it's been out of a training camp. How do you think is it going to be ragged? Will it take guys a while to adjust? Or
I think I don't know if it'll take guys very often or very, very long to adjust, to be honest with you. I think everybody keeps in great shape during the summers anyway, and I think everybody's going to be so ramped up and so excited to get things going again that guys are going to be going 100 miles an hour out there. And I think it's going to be really good hockey. Like everybody's teams are going to be healthy and have all their guys back for the majority. And it's going to be, I think, one of the toughest Stanley Cups playoffs there's going to be for sure.
Thank you, Bo.
Yep.
David Satriano from NHL.com has the next question.
Hey, congrats again. I'm just wondering how you assess your first year as captain. Not that it's over yet, and did you lean on some of the older guys like maybe Tanev or Edler who've been there, or just basically draw on your experience from the Sedins, having played with them?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I thought my supporting cast, I couldn't have done be a captain at a young age and have the success we did my first year without my supporting cast, whether it was Tanny, like you said, Adler, Sutz, even Millsy coming in was great. And having those guys and obviously Biggs, who's been there and done that, and of course Hank and Danny, just learning from them was definitely made my transition a heck of a lot easier.
And just to follow up to that, you kind of had a taste of here, but this is going to be the first time for a lot of the younger guys like Brock, Elias, and Quinn, even Markstrom. You need to talk to those guys, or maybe to Foley, Pearson, as you mentioned, Beagle, like guys who've won it for advice, or you think they're pretty much that how they play, so they'll be up for this challenge?
I think they're going to be up. I think they're going to be up for it. They've played a lot of playoffs. Obviously it's not like the NHL playoffs, but they've played playoffs before. They know what it takes to win. And they know what playoff hockey is like, and I think that they're going to be ready for it. They have the game to suit the playoffs, and I don't think there's much to be said. I think they just know what needs to be done and our main goal at the end of it.
Thanks.
Next, we're going to go to Patrick Johnson.
Well, Bo, welcome to the COVID baby club. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. How much jealousy are people at home feeling about the fact that you're getting some regular sleeps in already?
Yeah, my wife cursed me out pretty much every day for that. She isn't getting much rest with the little man constantly at her beck and call, but I miss them. Obviously, you want to be there in those early ages, early years to bond with them and help out as best you can. But under these circumstances, I mean, what can you do, right?
Right.
We're it's the new normal nowadays, and we just got to live with it and think of the positives.
It's something I found myself thinking about. I had a conversation with Stan Smeal during the season about, he's a grandparent now, but he was thinking back about how much his wife had to do because they were flying commercial flights back then, that kind of thing. Who have you talked to your teammates or some of the guys in management about how to handle being a parent and a hockey player?
I haven't actually. That's probably a good question. I should probably ask. I've just seen it firsthand. Guys FaceTime their kids all the time on the road, or you ask questions. What are you doing on your day off when you have the time at home? And it's just they're basically just being a dad. And it's not a day off; it's a day on, pretty much, when you get a day off away from the rink. So getting used to that's going to be a little different, but I can't wait for it.
And just last question: where did Gunnar come from?
We just like the name. We wanted to have him to have a strong name, and we felt that Gunnar was a strong name and a little bit different. I have a big family, so nobody in my family has that name. So we just liked it and ended up picking it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no worries.
Josh Clipperton from CP is next.
Hey, Bo, just want to echo everyone's thoughts. Congrats and thanks for doing this.
Yep.
Sort of just, you might not see them for, months at this point. I mean, it's been a week. Have you sort of reconciled those emotions of wanting to win, but at the same time, knowing that means that, your son is going to be getting older and older and you're going to be missing things?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, we at the beginning of the year, we set out a goal to to make the playoffs and have a chance at the Stanley Cup, and we have that. And if I'm going to be away from my family and put my time and effort into coming back and playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I want to go all the way, and I want to try to win this thing. So it's not just a waste of time and be away from my family for no reason. And I think that's what we're going to try and do.
Are you you're the PA rep, right, for the team?
Yep.
Yeah. So can you just take us through like how all this negotiation has been? It's obviously from the outside, it seems like a marathon. With labor peace potentially for the first time without a lockout, forever. Can you just describe from your perspective what's gone into all this?
A lot. I was on a lot of PA calls, I wasn't part of the negotiation team, but obviously they fill us in and what's going on and our thoughts and inputs. And there's definitely a lot that went into it. So I appreciate everything that, Don and all the support staff have done up to this point, because it's a lot of work. And for the most part, it was pretty civil. And we're happy to get things going and start things up again.
What does it say about the climate that you're in that the two sides were able to come together the way they were? Because like I said, this has never been possible. A pandemic had to happen for the two sides to come together this easily.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, again, like that was maybe my first full year being a PA rep. So, and of course I had to be in the pandemic, but yeah, like I've heard in the past, it hasn't been pretty and things haven't gone this smooth. And I mean, obviously it wasn't smooth, but I mean, they came together and did whatever they could, work long hours and finally came up with a plan. So, I mean, it was pretty impressive to see how they did it in such short time.
Thanks for this, Bo.
Yep.
Pete Jensen from NHL.com up next.
Hey, Bo, thanks for doing this. Question about your right wings on the roster. So Tyler Toffoli was a point per game, mostly on the other line with Pettersson and Miller after the trade. So that might mean Brock Besser, who is a bounce-back candidate for the playoffs, would be playing on your line most likely. What can you do to unlock his potential? Because we've seen shades of it many times in his career that this guy could be like a 40-goal scorer type player.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Brock he definitely hasn't hit his ceiling. I think he's got a lot more to prove, and I think he knows that too. And I don't think we've seen the best of Brock Besser. And but obviously, if we get the chance to play with him, then I think he's going to come to play in the playoffs. He scores big goals, and he's played in the playoffs before in college. And I think he wants to prove to everybody too that he that he can have a great playoffs, and I think him and Pierce, if that's going to be the line, can really do some damage.
Nice. And just generally speaking, like you're a relatively young captain. How are you trying to change the playoff culture in Vancouver? Obviously, you guys haven't been there for the past 4 years. Everyone always talks about the past Cup final losses for the franchise. As the new captain, how can you change that?
Win. I mean, we've had in this organization such great teams in the past. Hank and Danny were, unbelievable leaders and did a great job of creating a winning culture. Obviously, one game away from winning the Cup, but our main goal is to win playoff games and ultimately win the Stanley Cup. I mean, with the organization deserves it. My teammates deserve it, and obviously the city of Vancouver deserves it. So that's what we're going to try to do here.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
We have time for a few more questions. So next, go to Carol Schramm.
Hi, Bo. Welcome back to Vancouver. Congratulations on the new arrival. You said you got back on Sunday. What day did you get back onto the ice, and what other players are skating in your group with you?
Yeah, I got back Sunday. I waited for my test results, and obviously, thankfully, they were negative. And then I started going back on the ice Tuesday, and I've been on the ice ever since. So I got a great group. I got myself, Pearson. We got DiPietro and Domingue, goalies, Roussel. There's like 7 of us. I'm trying to think now. Put me on the spot a little bit. Brisebois, Sautner, and McEwen are in my group. I think. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out.
Great. And were you skating at all when you were back in Ontario, or is this your first time back on the ice?
No, I was luckily we had ice back in London, so I was skating probably 3-4 times a week, which was nice.
And so I guess this feeling of being back on the ice at Rogers Arena at this point is almost more emotional and more of a like, let's get going, this is all real, than sort of the physical adjustments of getting back and literally in stride.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great to be back with some of the guys again and get skating and ramp this thing up. And we just can't wait to get things started and get things going now.
And how's quarantine life treating you? I guess the sleep is good. What about the rest of it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little boring. We try to do what we can, and I was gonna say FaceTime was a big thing for me with the little man back home. Play some cards, and that's pretty much it. I get a lot of Netflix time.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
No worries.
Next, we're going to go to Rob Williams, Daily Hive.
Hi, Bo. What do you remember from your first playoff experience in your rookie year? You played well, tied for the team lead in scoring. And how will that prepare you for your series against the Wild? And do you remember an adjustment in your game when you played playoff hockey?
I mean, I remember obviously it was the funnest hockey I've ever played. Just the energy in the crowd and just the whole game, everything about it just goes to another level. And I find that's when I play my best hockey, and I can't wait to get back and start playing playoff hockey again, because it's the best to play.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to ask a question that's been written in. This one comes from Ed Willis, Bo. His question is, was the return of the Olympics a priority for players during the negotiation of the new CBA?
Yeah. Obviously everybody wants to represent their country. Everybody wants to play in the Olympics. And I think that was a big thing that we wanted, not only for ourselves to represent our country, but to grow the game. And I think this is great to negotiate that and be able to play in the Olympics coming up. So it's great for hockey. It's great for the fans. It's great for us as players to represent our country. So we're excited about it.
Thank you. Have just a couple more here. Ian McIntyre with another question for you.
Well, with the CBA, obviously now the cap is going to be flat for at least a couple of years, and who knows beyond that. Your organization has some excellent young players who are going to be looking for new contracts. Are you concerned at all that there may not be room for everybody, and that the cap may affect the Canucks more than some teams?
I mean, yeah, I think you definitely got to think about that. I wouldn't want to have a head office job right now with the way the cap is, but I think we're going to do whatever we can to keep our core group together and our and the guys, our young guys, and keep them around, because they're such important pieces to our team. How we're going to do it, I'm not sure, because we do have such great young talent, and we want to keep our team together as best as possible. But hopefully, we can do something to keep us all together, because we definitely have a bright future.
And this might sound crazy, but did it cross your mind to maybe drive here from Ontario,
Yeah.
so that you get an extra 3 or 4 days without the quarantine?
Yeah, it definitely crossed our mind, but to drive all the way out here, I don't know. I'm not. I don't do really good in the car, so I was on a flight instead.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our last two questions will be from Patrick Johnson first, and then Brendan Batchelor to close things out.
Hey, Bo, sorry if this got asked earlier. I was a little late hopping on. Was Gunnar, was that a scheduled C-section, or did he probably get induced? How did that happen?
Yeah, so that's actually pretty crazy. It was a scheduled C-section for the 14th, and she ended up going into labor Sunday, the 28th, and yeah, she just said she didn't feel right. We took her to the hospital. She said, "No, I can't go in." So I just dropped her off. She said, "Go home, relax. It's probably nothing." Dropped her off at 5:30. We had the baby at 7:30.
Wow.
So it was a pretty quick turnaround. She was having contractions, and the next thing you know, it was like 30 seconds apart, and she was like, "Boy, you got to get down here right now. We're having the baby." So it was a pretty quick turnaround. I got there at 7. We had the baby at 7:30. It was scheduled, or it was C-section right away, and luckily she was healthy, baby's healthy, and they're all doing great.
Wow, that's wild. I mean, every one of our wives would be envious of having such a quick labor.
Yeah, seriously, I know exactly. But yeah, I was happy I was around to be a part of it, and happy I wasn't across the country, and all of a sudden that happens and I can't get home. So I was blessed to be there.
And then I guess just to go back to that CBA question, obviously you, like you said, you weren't on the, in the middle of it, but having to keep tabs on that, that obviously became a stress. Was that a difficult thing to juggle as you're dealing with this new kid and planning to come back west and all that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, the most stressful thing was timelines. When we were going to get things started, if it was going to get pushed back, if it was going to start, things were supposed to start at her due date on the 14th and now the 13th. So like just the whole stress of all that and how I was going to get back, how I was going to quarantine. Yeah, just even talk about it stressing me out. And I was just happy that, I got to spend a week with him before I came out. And it was a pretty crazy time. So I think the timelines were the most stressful thing.
Great. Thanks, Bo, and congrats again.
Thank you.
Bo, just to finish off here, just a few weeks away from games now, your thoughts on the matchup with Minnesota and what the hockey might be like playing the Wild in that 5-game play-in series?
It's going to be tough. I mean, Minnesota's got a good team, and they're just starting to turn it on here before the whole pandemic started. And I'm sure they're going to be ready for us, and just like we're going to be ready for them. It's not going to be an easy matchup. They got some good players over there, and that they have some good playoff experience. So we got to be at the top of our game and ready to go for this series.
Thank you.
Yep.